Hello boys and girls, it's Mrs. Atkins here. I'm going to be reading you your bedtime story today. The story I'm going to be reading you is called That Rabbit Belongs to Emily Brown by Cressida Cow and Neil Layton. Now my story is about a little girl and her favourite toy, Stanley. Do you have a favourite toy? I've got mine here. Why don't you get your favourite toy today and hold it tight and listen to my story. Once upon a time, there was a little girl called Emily Brown and an old grey rabbit called Stanley. One day, Emily Brown and Stanley were just launching themselves into outer space to look for alien life forms when there was a rat-a-tat-tat at the kitchen door. It was the chief footman to the Queen, and he said, "The Queen has very kindly noticed your rabbit. She would like to have that bunny money, and in return she offers you this brand new golden teddy bear." Emily Brown looked at the Queen's teddy bear, and it was stiff and new and gold and horrible. It had staring eyes and no smile at all. "No, thank you," said Emily Brown. "This rabbit is not for sale, and his name isn't Bunny Bunny, it's Stanley." And Emily Brown shut the door politely. An hour or so later, Emily Brown and Stanley were riding through the Sahara Desert on their motorbike when there was a rat-a-tat-tat at the garden door. It was the army. The captain saluted and said, Her Most Royal Highness Queen Gloriana III greets Miss Emily Brown, and she would like to have that bunny bunny. In return, she offers her the brand new golden teddy bear and 10 talking dolls that say, Mama, Mama. Emily Brown said, "I don't want 10 talking dolls. I want my rabbit. And his name isn't Bunny Bunny. It's Stanley." And she sent that army away, less politely this time. A few days later, Emily Brown and Stanley were just deep sea diving off the Barrier Reef when there was a rat-a-tat-tat at the garden door. It was the Navy. The Admiral saluted and said, Her Glorious Royalness Queen Gloriana III greets Miss Emily Brown. She would like you to hand over that rabbit at your earliest convenience. She points out that she is the poshest person on the planet, and Bunny Bunny will be much better off with her. In return, she offers you the brand new golden teddy bear, 10 talking dolls that say, Mama, Mama, and 50 rocking horses that rock forever. "I don't care who she is," said Emily Brown. "This rabbit belongs to me, and his name isn't Bunny Bunny, it's Stanley." And she sent that Navy away. A few weeks later, Emily Brown and Stanley were just climbing through the Amazonian rainforest when there was a rat-a-tat-tat on the garden door. It was the Air Force. The wing commander saluted and said, Her Excellence, the Most Mighty Queen Gloriana III greets Miss Emily Brown and says she must have the bunny bunny right now, and she will not answer for the consequences. In return, she will give her a brand new golden teddy bear, 10 talking dolls that say Mama, Mama, and 50 rocking horses that rock forever, and all the toys she could ever desire. Now, Emily Brown was fed up. She sent the Air Force away and she pinned a big notice on the garden gate that read, "This rabbit is not for sale. And his name is not Bunny Wunny, it's Stanley." Signed, Emily Brown. A few months later, Emily Brown and Stanley were laying fast asleep, dreaming of all the adventures they were going to have the next day, when there was absolutely no noise at all. At the door, at the gate, or the window. Silently, in crept the Queen's special commanders. And they stole the rabbit that belonged to Emily Brown. When Emily Brown woke up in the morning for the first time in her life, there was no Stanley. Emily Brown was so cross. She knew just what had happened, and she marched straight up to the palace on the hill, and she knocked on that naughty Queen's front door with a rat-a-tat-tat. Emily Brown ran into the palace, and there was that naughty queen crying like anything. The first thing she said was, "Thank goodness you're here, Emily Brown. There's something wrong with Bunny Wunny." There was indeed something wrong with Stanley. That silly naughty queen had put him in the royal washing machine all night, and he'd come out an odd pink colour. The royal dressmakers had stuffed him full of stuffing, so he wasn't flippy floppy anymore. And worst of all, they had sewn up his mouth where Emily Brown had picked it away, and Stanley wasn't smiling anymore. Stanley was miserable. "Oh, Emily Brown, is there anything you can do?" asked the silly naughty queen. "There certainly is," said Emily Brown. "I shall take Stanley home." That silly queen started crying harder than ever. I've all the toys in the world, but none of them are as nice as Stanley." Emily Brown felt sorry for that silly queen. So she went to the royal toy cupboard and she took down that brand new golden teddy bear and she placed it on the Queen's lap. Emily Brown whispered so that no one else could hear, "You take that brand new teddy bear and you play with him all day, sleep with him all night, hold him very tight and be sure to have lots of adventures. And then maybe one day you'll wake up with a real toy of your own." And Emily Brown and Stanley went home. That was the last Emily Brown and Stanley had heard from that silly naughty queen for quite some time. But one day, a couple of years later, just as Emily Brown and Stanley were exploring the outermost regions of the Milky Way, there was a rat-a-tat-tat at the kitchen door. And it was the postman with a letter for Emily Brown that just said, "Thank you." I hope you enjoyed my story and you're all ready to fall fast asleep with your very own favourite toy. Bye.